smile, like the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 Safe and sound.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it
going on, everyone? Welcome to Dark Matter Demolition 3, The Revengeing. My
The
name is
Revengeing.
Lauren, joined here by the Mad Lad, the hardest working man in Rogue Company, Rathar. Dude, we were talking over in the bomb plan. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Very excited. We have a very interesting first match, and I am. It's honestly one of the highlight matches I think that we get to spectate here in this game.
I'm right there with you, man. It's cool to see so many of the prominent competitive teams show up here for Dark Matter Demolition. $1,000 prize pool, very incentivizing. We're gonna have HOF taking on Cute Hamster. If you follow the Rogue Company competitive scene at all, you know we are in for an absolute treat here, man.
I mean, this is essentially just like old teammates versus old teammates in a different like draft of things. We have Frag Out, Gronky, obviously the staple duo in Rogue Company. They've picked up Highlight and they've got Delena in there, and they go up against old teammates in Ink, Bop, Remix, and who's the last person? Oh my gosh, who's the last person? Is it Corrupt? I think Corrupt's playing. That might be it. I don't know. I'm gonna put the bracket in a second, just so I know.
So
I think it normally is Corrupt. It's Remix. We'll grab them. We're going to do this. Scuff, but we're making it work. We will get to the bottom of it. No, it was Pix. It was Pix, not Corrupt. I don't think Corrupt plays anymore. It's Pix. It was Pix. Cool. So essentially, like, these are old teammates. Like, in some way, they play against each other. They have been mismatched, like, the top teams in the game pretty much since the start. And yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. This is definitely one of the highlight matches coming out of this tournament. I'm glad we get to see it first.
Yeah, right out of the gate here, man. High stakes already in the tournament here for Dark Matter Demolition 3. One of the things that I think is really cool about this match that we're going to be casting in particular is, like you said, they are former teammates.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a competitive meta to Rogue Company, sure, but at the competitive level, knowing your opponent, their habits, their tendencies, what can tilt them. Like, oh, after I made that play, I know they're mad. Like, I know their communication is breaking down. Stuff that can have a huge impact on the overall result of a match. So when you're kind of already halfway in the head of your opponent just because you know them so well, and it's going to work both ways. It's going to work both ways between these two teams, but it just adds another layer of depth to what we're going to see here for the very first match of the tournament. It's crazy, man.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Honestly, I'm super jazzed. So I'm glad that this was the match first when we saw what the bracket was. I just said we had to watch this match. We have to watch this match. This match cannot go unseen. The world needs to see what comes of this. And it's definitely going to be a challenge of both sides. Both sides, honestly, could go either way. I couldn't call it. Cute Hamsters being the dominant team at the moment in terms of winning other tournaments and things. But the lineup that HOF have here are looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good. And I wouldn't put anything past an upset here, especially in the best of 3 format that we've got going. You know, it's 2 maps. Some of these maps are go better than others, and we'll see exactly what the strengths lie for each team. Again, if I'm going to try and ask Production Mayor what first map is, and we'll sort of speculate.
Skyfall.
So is Skyfall? Skyfall's first map?
I got
Cool,
the info.
cool.
I got
You got the
for
info.
you.
You got. I'm glad.
So, yeah, I got your back, man. I got your back. So round number 1 is going to be Skyfall Vice, and should there be a round 3, we'll be going to Hollows. I really like Skyfall because I feel like it's a map where almost any strategy in rogue composition can work, depending on how you want to approach it. Rad, with what you know about these two teams, you know, what rogues do you expect to see? We were talking a lot about Kestrel Dahlia being still a very dominant pairing, but you know, I know Frag Out, he plays a ton of like Phantom stuff like that. Like, do you think we're gonna see any somewhat wild cards or staple picks?
In what is going to be one of the toughest matches for both teams off rip, I do not think we're going to see any massive wild cards. I don't think we'll see the Phantom. I think Frag Out, who has changed his name like a month ago actually to Seek Out, purely because of Seeker meta. We're probably going to see him on that Seeker. Again, he's a great rogue for this map. I'm expecting to see the Kestrel probably come out from either Delena or from Gronky. And then we've got Dahlia coming in as the flex there, obviously, for the heal. I think the Dahlia Link heal is much better than the Saint revive coming out from these teams. So I think they'll offer the Dahlia, at least on the attacking side. When it comes to the defensive side, Bop is a big Anvil fan. He likes that Anvil, and Anvil retake on this map is very, very strong, very obnoxious, hard to deal with. So I would like to see that. I actually hope, unless they ban it, because honestly, that's a very worthy target ban onto bot right there to ban that anvil. If they don't, I would like to see some form of incendiary grenade coming out from the other team, the attacking team, to stop that anvil retake. Just give them some time, maybe even a glitch. I don't think we'll see it.
Oh,
But you never know. Like, it's not an awful pick. You can rat around with that padded steps. You can see what's going on. You can get some flashbangs in there. Well, do I think they'll put it up? Probably not, but I do not think it is the worst idea if they allow Anvil to be open. Bans, though, I'm interested. We have some players who play Lancer on these teams. Like, they could put off a really good Lancer, but I don't know whether the Lancer is going to be a target ban for them, whether they care enough about that Lancer to get her out of there. But if they don't, that could be a problem. That could be a problem.
I definitely think it could. I would really like to see Lancer go through just to further accentuate the concepts we've been talking about of knowing the tendencies of former teammates. It's like, because Lancer's a very flank specific, a very route specific type of rogue. So if you know how your former teammate is going to run a map or a situation with Lancer, you can kind of make that pick and make that a trap, make it a liability where it's like, I know they're going to come around this corner at the same time every time, so I'm just going to be there to shut it down. Let them take the Lancer. We saw a lot in the last tournament how much of an impact Anvil can have on certain maps in particular, but overall, I just felt like the dynamic of any game Anvil was in just changed. Like the ability to retake, putting down the wall at the right time was so very impactful. But one of the surprise picks for me, and I guess it's become more of a staple now, when we started seeing Chalk show up a lot in the last tournament, I remember like, oh wow, Chalk, getting some variety. That's interesting. And then by the end of the tournament, it just was like, that's kind of a standard pick. And I think a large part of it was because, in the second tournament, the TTKs were shorter. So I felt like that was an indirect buff to Chalk to be able to, be tanky and take some of that damage with the burst healing. Now that that's been reverted, I'm wondering if that passive buff has kind of gone away or if he's just still, in the hearts and minds of the players who have really embraced that playstyle.
I definitely think he's going to be picked up. I think he's definitely meta at the moment, just especially on Skyfell where it is very like ape heavy, where you kind of got to just run them. You really got to just like get them. If you're on the attacking team at least, you have to move. You just have to you can't stop, otherwise you're going to get shot from mid. You can't like dilly daddle because then you're just going to you put yourself in a bad position. So Chark is really, really good at this. He's great for the flashbang. He's great just to soak up a little bit of damage, as you said. And there are definitely players on both teams who I know run Chark. Ink especially is a very, very good Chark. He's been running Chark before Chark was even like considered meta. He kind of made Chark meta, honestly, to Ink. So I'm expecting a little bit of that coming out from him. At least on the side of HOF there. I know Bot also likes Chark, so maybe they'll fight for that pick. I think Ink is probably the one they'll stick to at least for that in this situation. But that's Skyfall. If the bans are going to matter, Fixer will be banned. I don't know which team is going to ban Fixer, but one of the teams is going to ban Fixer because I don't think they want to let that through. If they do, that would be very interesting. If they let that pick slide to let Fixer through, it would be very, very interesting. But I don't expect it. I think they're gonna, whichever team is attacking first, they're gonna lock that one in straight away.
Yeah, man. I feel like in the current state of Rogue Company, every ban is a statement. It's like, and every rogue that isn't banned is a statement. On a map like Skyfell, if you leave someone like Fixer open, what you're saying to your opponent is, I'm not scared of your sniping.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that to Frack or Seek Out. I know.
Sure, I would say either. I don't even know if you would pick it up.
I think it would be a bold choice to leave some of these, high impact rogues on the table for your opponent, especially this early in the tournament. Like you don't, sometimes teams can have an off day or an on day. You have no idea at the beginning of a tournament. So since this is a best of 3, there is going to be some leeway, and it's like, all right, we can make some adjustments going into game number 2. But at the outset, I don't know if I'm leaving some of these high priority rogues just out there to be snapped up.
Yeah, I agree. I think the other one that we haven't really mentioned, but is important to mention, is Sigrid. Sigrid has been a hard target ban for a lot of teams on a map like Skyfell, where again, you just want to push through, you just not want to take as much damage as you move through. Who's great at that? Shield Lady. She's going to put it up, she's going to walk, or even, if you want to be really cheeky, that zip line from the attacker side to the defender side across those two Lambos, you know, you want to shield up there and get a cheeky play off, go for it. Like that could work. And the chaos of the moment, they may not expect it, and you may be able to pull off something really well from that. Equally, Silent Lancer zip by using her ult across that zip is really impactful. Is it an obvious play? Yes. Does that mean it won't work against high level teams? No. You know, like it's one of those things that is so obvious that high level teams don't expect you to do it because it's so stupid that they won't watch it, and then they'll get a kill from it.
Yeah.
Another pick that I kind of want to touch on, and I think could be really interesting. I'm not sure if we're going to see a lot of it. Is going to be a Trench. Trench with his trip mines. His weapons are not in a great spot. HRM and MXR are okay weapons. They're not necessarily the best. But the trip mines are actually proving really, really well. They're really hard to see currently, and they could, it's on a map like Skyfell, where there's a lot of corners you're having to run around. A good Trench who get a good setup could be really good there. Barbed wire to slow them down as well. It kind of just depends on what the defending teams here want to go for. Do you want to go more passive play for that Anvil retake? Do you want to allow them to have that pressure on the map by doing that? Or do you want to play aggressive and actually stop them getting the plant, fight for these kills, and go aggressive into them? That's going to be the two play styles we're going to see. I think this map is very much like, it's not necessarily one-sided either way, but it's defender dependent in that what the defensive team decide their game plan is dictates how the map is going to go. Because the attackers got to do the same thing every time. They got to rush. They got to try and get to the bomb plant down. They got to try and get that bomb down, decide what they're doing. If they have to fight along the way, they'll fight. If not, they'll just get the bomb down and try and hold positions. But it's just down to the defending team to decide how that fight goes and exactly how they want to do it.
I think versatility is such a huge aspect to Skyfall in particular, and that makes me think that we will see Dahlia Kestrel pretty consistently. Just something that kind of works across the board, no matter like not only in terms of what you're trying to do with your composition, but what you might think your enemy is going to do with theirs. Since Skyfall plays so many different strategies, one thing that I'm really curious to see, and I want to pick your brain about this before we get the first match underway. There's a rogue that we were talking about a lot in the second tournament, and we theorized how strong and how impactful this rogue would be. And then every time we saw the rogue get picked up, it didn't look that great. I'm just going to be straight up honest. And that rogue is Mac.
Yes,
he talked a lot about what his weapon can do. It's a laser beam, how much damage he does. Granted, that was during the time where the TTKs were shorter. Talked about the idea of the light bomb and just... it never seemed to be a play that came to fruition. And do you think that's just like the character is too high concept to work in competitive? Do you think we'll see it now in the third tournament? I just want to know what your thoughts on Mac in general is.
No, Mac is a weird rogue, I'm finding, where he's really good in the right hands. And again, you're right, that gun, laser beam, literally like a rail gun. It just winds up and it's just pinpoint accurate, which is, you know, amazing, you know, especially with these players who have such great accuracy anyway. You start moving them with a gun that literally has no recoil, they're gonna have a great time. No bloom, no recoil, they're happy days. But I think where Max is suffering at the moment is probably just because he's not as good as other rogues who kind of want to do the same sort of thing. Like, in terms of a defender, what does he really offer? He has, you know, the same amount of trophies as Anvil, but without Anvil retake pressure. He has a gun, is better than Anvil's, but not necessarily like one that you one up all the time. And his passive is good. He gets armor for free. He can link with Darling, get armor for free, but equally then, you know, like Anvil can buy armor later, you know, and again, you don't have this shield. I think maybe it's the ability. Maybe that's kind of where it comes down to, is maybe the ability is too high a skill cap to work as a defender. And it's just like, how often are you going to get this off, especially against high level teams? How often are you getting this ability off? Where I think he could be okay, though, especially on Skyfell, is the attack. I think he could work. Give yourself an extra bit of health as you run through. Take up a little bit more damage because it is a poke-heavy map from the defensive side onto the attackers. So, you know, you want to survive a little bit more. He's got a grenade, which he obviously has the trophy system, which can be really, really good as well to block something off. But he has the light bomb for the retake. Obviously, Anvil hard counters that with his flash immunity, but when you get that bomb down, you can really just place the light bomb down next to it. You got the bomb and then the light bomb next to each other, and if they decide to push, you flash them, and you can maybe play off those picks. As long as you pick off the Anvil and you're not afraid of that flash immunity, then you're probably okay. But yeah, I think I do agree with you. Mac is underperforming right now, to say the least. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Hopefully, we see him sort of pop up a little bit better as we move through.
we are hearing quite the interesting development
Oh yeah.
in terms of the first match. Apparently, HOF is bowing out of the tournament
Okay.
outright.
I guess
Okay.
they're not here. Someone's probably someone's asleep. is
All
probably
right.
what's happened.
They are not present at the moment, which is, it's a shame. I was really looking forward to seeing
too.
these two teams go at it. But we are going to pivot over to the Beef Shakers. Let me take a look. They'll be playing the winners of either Team Cruelty or Sour Patch Kids, as I'm looking at it and understanding it. So we'll have that queued up here. I believe that match is going on right now between Team Cruelty and Sour Patch Kids. So maybe we take a short break to
we take a short
match
break. Yep.
round out. And then once it does, we'll come back and get the first match on stream underway. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
My heart rages around like an ocean in my head because there are so many things that I left
When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Clear sky. When you want to get off that darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down.
Invincible.
Welcome back, everyone, to Dark Matter Demolition 3, The Revengeing. We're back. My name's Lauren, joined here by the Mad Lad Rad Thar. give you guys an update. We are about to jump into the first match of the day. We just saw, looking through the bracket, that Team Cruelty were able to take out Sour Patch Kids, so they move on to round 2 to face winners of the last tournament, the Beef Shakers. So the challenge is going to ramp up for them considerably. Beef Shakers, man, we were very impressed with them in the last tournament. You think they're going to keep that trend going?
Oh, I think so. They've been playing together a lot more. I think the first tournament we ever watched them in was like their first time playing together. Like they were a pop-up team almost at the time, like or very close to being. And then they've just sort of stuck together since, and they're doing really, really well. They're placing really well in tournaments. They've won the last 2 Dark Matter Demolition tournaments. I'm glad that we're back though. Thank you everyone for their patience. While we waited for all that to settle, of course, when teams don't show, it can, tangle production ever so slightly, but we do thank you for your patience, and we are looking to get into a very exciting game. Q-Hams is the wrong one. Beef Shakers. There's too many animals and adjectives for those animals going on in these team names.
Too, huh?
Yeah, it's a trend. It's definitely a trend. But we're looking to jump in to this game with Beef Shakers versus Team Cruelty. Should be very interesting. Should be explosive. If we get a little look at the maps, I don't know if you've got them available, Hal, or
Yeah. So round 2, we'll be looking at Windward to start, Favelas for the second round, and should there be a third, we'll be moving over to Glacier.
Okay, very, very interesting. So we should be loading up somewhat soon here. Here, all players are in the lobby, so we're getting into
what's
this.
interesting about this? So the match we're about to see, Team Cruelty versus Beef Shakers. The winner of this will be taking on Heartbreakers team.
Yes.
Which will be spicy in and of itself.
Yes.
The winner of that could potentially be facing off against Cute Hamster, should they be able to win their upcoming match.
Also
so
spicy.
I think like the next 3 matches that are lined up are going to be against some of the upper echelon of what we have to offer here in this tournament. So I'm excited to see that.
I think so. I think it's worth the delay. It's worth the delay to see 3 explosive matches come in force right now, and we'll be following it throughout. We'll be looking just I'm buzzed for it. I'm glad we're getting into some matches now. Get to see some good action. I'm interested to see the bans and picks, of course, as an analytical person that I am. That's where my interest lies, is breaking down why these players doing this, why they're making these plays, and trying to explain that to you guys so you guys understand the game a little bit more from our casting as well. So I'm looking forward to jumping in, seeing some high level action, casting some high level action, and moving through this. It's gonna be. I like this. This is my new word. Not fun, not interesting. Spicy. I like it.
I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised. And the game is starting. The last time we saw Windward at the last tournament, we were like, "Oh, that's interesting." Chalk.
Yes.
Yes. Super aggressive chalk on a map where I wouldn't particularly
demolition. Don't let your enemies plant the bomb.
Amazing.
Yes.
And it looked like it was the standard. So I'm wondering if we're going to see that kind of trend continue, if there's going to be something else going on.
I mean, potentially. And wasn't it Beef Shakers that we saw run the chalk last time? Wasn't it the same team?
I'm pretty sure it was.
And
it was like one of the first matches that we saw. I was like, okay, we're setting the tone pretty aggressively.
And wasn't that the same match where one of the players on the enemy team rage quit?
It was,
wasn't it? They couldn't deal with the chalk. They couldn't deal with it. But the bans have come in. We've got the Fixer ban coming out from Beef Shakers, who did ban first, and then Sigrid ban from Team Cruelty. I like that. 2 very, very heavy meta picks. Not necessarily dominant on these maps, but just dominant overall. And that is important enough for that ban. We see the Anvil coming out very quickly from the defensive side. So they are going to be playing for the retake here on Windward, most likely. I like it. It's not necessarily a map that I would say is particularly retake necessary, as you can do a lot of the dogfighting between that, but I understand having it, and they've done it. They've got the chalk in it. It is an attacking chalk, to be fair, but we'll see if they run it for defense as well. They have Kestrel Dahlia, as you predicted so well, also, and then they have that Seeker just for that intel playstyle also. Okay. Interesting coming out from the defensive side here. I like the Saint. I think Saint on defense for Windward makes more sense. It is longer range. It is something like where that global revive has more pressure. They've got the Kestrel standard, but they've opted for Dallas as their intel rogue. I wonder if they'll maybe like double up a flank potentially. Flanking on this map, especially for an A pinch, is really good. So potentially having that Dallas snap to move through the long angle, snap the closest person, and then have Kestrel to follow up could be really good. We'll see exactly how these teams decide to play it. This comp-wise is just interesting. There's a lot of depth to what these teams could do. I think the Anvil flash immunity is nice into the Chark as well. I think he'll benefit from that depending on where they get focused.
I do too. Do you feel the Dallas is like a direct response to the Chalk, or do you think they're trying to get something different out of this?
They can't see the picks as they come through, but they could have predicted it. I don't know. I think they're going to suffer into a Chark, you know, with the long-range weapon of a Dallas. You're not going to feel real good when a Chark runs up into your close range. So I think Dallas might just be a comfort pick. I know Natalia there does run Dallas quite a lot, so we will see it.
Speaking of, we're going to see that move up, has a little bit of backup. A couple pot shots. I don't think they know Dallas is there at all. They might have got woken up there. Ooh. But a quick response there goes for the ult. 1-for-1 trade.
I know that all these will probably get revived here. Natalia does go for the play, but who's that will save his teammates alive in that. Will trade out his own, but the revive nice and easily so dies stick with that link. And it's looking like a 4v3 currently on the map. Good zone coverage coming out from both teams. And the bomb is going to go down.
Enemies have armed the bomb.
Looking good for the attackers right now.
They're able to successfully push through while eliminating one of their opponents. 3-on-3 now. Remaining for the rest of round number 1. Story potentially gets spotted out there. Blasters gave their position away. No, that's going to get called out. Time is ticking down. How will the defense team go for the retake? Are they going to go down this choke point again? They got shot up last time. Rotate around.
Oh.
Into some gunfire.
that will be traded out though pretty easy, you know, given just the way that was done. I mean, who's that can just roll? Like, he could actually roll all the way back to safety and maybe get a res for himself here. Like, he's gonna be going for it. He wants his revive.
Time is winding down though. Dahlia does get down. Are they gonna run in here in time? It looks like
they go for it. The shield is down. Wow.
They got it.
They've disarmed the bomb.
They did get it. They did. They got the defuse. That was a bit of a weird one for me. I actually feel like comms for both teams there were kind of lacking. When the Anvil ran out towards who's that, the Chark on that cop car, we knew that Blasters on Kestrel had seen him. Like that had to have been called out. So he went there without like even pre-aiming it. So I feel like that comm wasn't made. And then likewise,
Bomb has been dropped.
on the other side, I don't think who's that called out that they were pushing behind Canny, and Canny was just there stuck on site. They did a really good job, the defending team there. Like, I don't know, honestly, that was the fact they did that was really impressive to actually take that round. Because they had a really good setup from Beef Shakers. I think, yeah, there was just lack of comms there. But they had a good split across the map. They kind of did like a 2-1 and sort of pinched them at those two angles. And that's kind of the trouble of what Anvil forces you into. You know he's going to go for the retake, so Canny had to sit on site to stop like the shield coming down easily. But then he just gets pinched in the back when who's that loses his 1v2. So it's a little bit of an awkward one.
And it just felt like communication is broke down there for Beef Shakers, which is something that's pretty surprising to me. Granted, this is the very first round.
Bomb's active.
Find down 2 people down now. Side make that 3. And oh no, man, the Beef Shakers are running into some solid competition right at the beginning of this tournament.
Just who's that alive there on the Chark, looking self-res potentially. The bomb is down, the bomb is being defused. And you know what I'm noticing just off these first 2 rounds? The
Bomb neutralized.
map coverage and angle holding that this team have of Team Cruelty is actually really good. Like right there, we had, we saw right at the start round, Natalia that was down on the steps as Dallas and then creeped up and shot Canny in the back without any punishment. So the angles and the crossfire that they've got going on here is actually really, really good. They're playing around that, and I think that has to come down to either really good timing or just really like good comms to like initiate that timing of, hey, we know we've got you're dealing with them in the front. We've got Kestrel all coming down. They're suffering. They've got to push you. Well, I'm gonna shoot them in the back when they go. I've got your cover. Don't worry, we're good here. So I think they're doing a really good job at holding these angles. I wonder if Beef Shakers now maybe switch it up, go towards B site. Of course, kind of awkward into an Anvil retake. It is a harder side to take. But weapons should have come up for both teams now. They should be playing with some weapons, and we'll see how that changes up. So often we see these first 2 rounds go one-sided, and then the other team, who we would normally predict to have an advantage, get weapons, and then they just stomp through. That is an aggressive play coming off the rip here.
Perfectly timed incendiary really stalls the advance of Chuck, but at the end of it, still goes down. And now just 1 remaining on the attacking side. Beef Shakers getting shaken up. That's the roll to safety. Solid tag there, 40 on the box. Steps back. Last
Friendly's
steps around the
eliminated.
corner though and
That's gonna hurt
closes
our
out
reputation.
round number 3. Radar. Okay.
Not looking too good for Beef Shakers right now. They're getting just out positioned. I want to say is the way I want to kind of put that. Of hey, you just ran straight forward into a Dallas. You got shot in your back as you went, and then that Dallas just picked you off with the HRM. Like that's they're playing aggressive, which I like. But I don't think they've got the angles on each other's backs the same way that Team Cruelty have right now. As I think that's going to be the theme of this, at least towards the start, is angles, positioning. And I think that is where Team Cruelty are coming ahead right now.
I think we're seeing two things at play. Last time we saw Beef Shakers run Chalk on the defensive side. And they kind of used that to be able to just flank how they wanted to with Chalk. But now that they're on the attacking side, they're going into opponents who seem to be just a higher caliber of team than what they ran into last tournament when we saw them have so much success with the Chalk pick. So it's starting to feel like, you know, maybe they thought they could be a bit more relaxed at the beginning of the tournament and that they'd run into some stiffer competition later on, but the Revengeing Red.
Revengeing is real. Revengeing is real as the first pick does come down. It's graded out though, and they're just finding a little bit more here. They are splashed in a bit of trouble, 2 versus 2 right now. As picks come out across the map, both healers are down. They haven't got played together here. They will find blasters right there. There's no way blasters survives in that HP. Maybe? Okay, just clips the head there from who's that. Now the Anvil in a 1v3, and the Anvil is not winning even the 1.
All right, bit of offensive front here. Do not count the Beef Shakers out just yet. I was going to remark that up until that round, I don't think the Beef Shakers were able to come away with a positive trade at all. Like, normally whenever they would get someone down, they themselves would be downed afterwards. There just never was really like a solid numbers advantage. Chalk had to make the play there. Came up clutch for the team.
I would definitely agree. I think that felt more dogfighty, and I think that's where Beef Shakers are gonna come into handy here. I think pure team fight wise of hey, we all know what's going on, we're all here, we're all coming. I think at the moment Team Cruelty can have that advantage, but dogfight pure hey, let's win these 1v1s, let's just fight it out and just scrap. It's coming down to Beef Shakers as I would come and normally expect from a mechanically gifted team like that.
Seeker gets the bow out, decides to throw a tracker. Spots a couple of bogeys down the mid lane. Dallas, who I'm pretty sure has the quiet steps by now, roaming around.
I got you.
Engagement, potentially looking to close the loop there. Got the revive. No, he didn't actually. No.
I'm gonna get the pan down nice and easy here, but yeah, that's kind of what the Team Cruelty won here. They're happy for the reason for the pan come down. They are getting shot in the back though. That was a good flank there coming out from Story there. Let's see if they can pick up the last one. They can, and the tables are turning. We're looking a bit closer now. We're getting back in there. 3-2, went 0-3 down. They've kind of found their groove again. They kind of know what they're doing. I think they're playing a little bit more slow, looking for a pick. And Team Cruelty are allowing them to get that pick, and that's where it's got to stop. Like last time it was the Dallas. Like they figured out what the Dallas is doing, the way they're going and pushing up to their staircase and sitting there. So I think they may need to play off a little bit, play a little bit more reserved, and just, you know, let Beef Shakers do what they want to do in terms of plan, and do what they did back in round 1 and have a really successful retake.
Yeah, I'm getting like some fighting game vibes from what we're seeing here. It feels like Beef Shakers kind of fell into a positioning trap the first few rounds, and that ended up kind of conditioning their opponents to just continue to play that way. So now that we see Beef Shakers making adjustments, we're seeing the defensive side being a little flat-footed in responding to those adjustments, and it's really allowing Beef Shakers to just run the gamut of whatever offense they can go for.
The flashbangs, I think, are also being really useful here. Just like flashing out, getting some information from people, and just like blinding them long enough that they can start pushing up to different positions. They also have nobody on the flank to watch for Story there, who's doing the same flank every single round. So that's why that was a beamer though, coming out from Verge straight on to Canny.
All right, Team Cruelty knows how to target ahead.
Everyone does.
You've been wiped out.
Oh.
Run it again.
Dude, they ran up this staircase hard.
They ran together, they team shot together, and he was looking like he was going to take a good trade onto the Chalk there, and then he took a bad trade onto his own forehead.
You take
Not
point.
like that.
The scoreboard is actually really even. Yeah, it's dead even in terms of downs. A 7, a 4, a 4, and a 3 on both teams. But eliminations are different. And assists are different. So there's a lot more team shotting coming out of Beef Shakers here. But downs are dead even.
That I think, like, as interesting as it is to see those numbers mirror each other, I don't know if it tells the full story. It just feels like Beef Shakers, like, if you look at those stats at the beginning, like, say, round 4, it looked very different. I think it's just Beef Shakers have resurged pretty hard here.
I would agree. They definitely got back in their groove a little bit, looking to take this 4-3. Going 4-3 on the attack is pretty good here. I do think that the defense lends a little bit more advantage to a team like that. Story finds a nice little pick, finds the full kill, in fact. Who's that will be traded down, as will Canny there on the A site. Let's see if they can get any revives off. And now they're going for this is the dogfight mentality. This is the team fight mentality as they're just trying to push through. 3v2 right now, 2v2. And they do not see Story there. Story will sideline them with that Kestrel. And you know, revive his teammate for good measure.
A fact that I'm pretty amazed by, like, Kestrel pushed through some initial gunfire and then just was left alone. And it just seemed like they entirely forgot the Kestrel was a thing, waiting on that sharp angle. And he just came back like, all right, well, if you're going to give me these free engagements, I'm fine with that.
See Story there going for the Kestrel again. Cannibals opting for the Saint over the Dade again. Same sort of reasons.
Do we see the Mac hover?
I mean, we see a hovered. Oh, we're getting the defensive Chark once again. It's there. They want it. Other than that,
what a time to be alive, my friend.
Very similar comp coming out though from the now attacking side with the Daria again. A little bit more preferential of a link there on attack, I think. Kestrel again, entirely going for the sort of familiar Dallas pick, which I actually really like on the attack here. I think you can get some really good flanks off, even better than a Kestrel could. And then the Chark, just that aggressive pressure. Chark v Chark here. We'll see who can ape better.
Yeah, the silent footsteps is always such a valuable asset to have in Dallas, so on offense or defense, but I think he can actually be really strong on the offensive side. Team Cruelty seems to feel the same way. See if they're going to be able to keep their momentum going, but I didn't think we'd see such an evenly matched game this early on. Beef Shakers were just so dominant in the last tournament. I think we're seeing there's going to be a lot to look forward to if we're seeing this kind of competition right now.
I do agree. I think that revive should get manually stuck there though. It was a good trade. Yeah, we can see the revive coming down now. Good bit of damage. They're kind of stuck in that corner though. They're going to look for some free stuff. But Joker needs to be careful. He's got someone on his side. Doesn't matter. They're just aping it. They don't even care.
Then wiped out.
Nice positioning there between the two of them though. We saw Story jump up on the soapbox, take some of the gunfire that allowed their teammate Joker to move up and get some shots. So then the target had to switch over to them. And then Story jumped back up on top and got some more bullets in. Just really nice trading there. I like that position.
Yeah, good juggle of focus and things. I think that's a good hit. And I mean, despite a rough early 3 rounds, Beef Shakers have gone on to win the last 5. So maybe they have just got back in their groove. Maybe there was a little bit of a pre-game weight rust. Obviously, Team Cruelty literally just come off a match themselves, so they are feeling a little bit warmer. Maybe it just took Beef Shakers a little bit longer to warm up there. So they've won the last 5 rounds in a row. So they are on a streak here, looking pretty good. And it's another B-focused play for Team Cruelty here.
The shots there from Story before he steps back. Calls out to the team, releases the enemy advance. Force out a shift. Veers. Spot out in the staircase. These are isolated for the moment to give the flank for the team, and that's a couple of downs.
There's something behind him. Yeah, he should go down. Oh, that's a big Kestrel. Finds 2, in fact. Not Joker and Cannibal's going down. Not Joker full killed, but as he tries to run away, bullets find his back, and he will go down. Unfortunately, that finds round number 6 in favor of Beef Shakers here. 6-3 is the round count. Now the gap has grown. You can definitely see what the pressure is. I think the attack is proving a little bit harder for
Bomb dropped.
Team Cruelty here. They're running into B and they're just running into, again, so many angles, so many just cross shots, and so much patience, actually, I'll say, coming out from Beef Shakers is really making the difference.
On a match like Windward, I do feel that this is more defense oriented. You just kind of wait to see how the enemy team is going to approach, and you respond accordingly. I think we're seeing a mix of Beef Shakers just waking up overall, just finding more accurate shots. And like I said, in the last tournament, they looked really dominant on the defensive side with Chalk. And they're just getting back to that form right now with a 6-3 lead.
We see the aggressive Chalk coming in now. But this is what they like. They like the A play. They like it when their opponents play A because then they can play aggressive like this. They will get the full kill there with the shots from the Semtex. They do like that. There's an enemy Chalk running at him. Got to be careful. Those double flashes will hit him with one of them. But we saw his nameplate before the flash went off and he was able to track that through the flashbang nonetheless. It is 1v2 now. Cannibals with the Mamba trying to survive, trying to take a revive. That is risky, but of helping hands. He does 80 HP on the chart. It's going to be enough. And they clutch the round. That is the difference between getting that Saint Res off and not. That was insane. He knew that the only way he wins that round is getting that res off. Chuck came out with 80 HP, did enough damage to find Natalia there, and then they picked up the last one in just the nick of time.
Out here actively denying the prophecy. Any lesser player would not have had the confidence. Have a seat, Candy. You earned that. You earned the rest on that one. I cannot believe he A, got the revive, and B, was able to clutch it out with the Chalk. Amazing stuff, man. What the heck?
I agree. He did a phenomenal job there. Phenomenal. That's what I love. That's what I love about Helping Hands and just Saints in general, who can just get that off. It's like, that makes all the difference right there. That's getting that res off and knowing to stick their res and not hesitating to stick their res is the difference between round win and round loss.
He was kind of LARPing. He's like, I'm going to get this revive off. Be ready because they are coming. But I will get you back on your feet. Great stuff. 7-3 lead. Potentially the last round here of map number 1. On the last team, you're able to get some serious momentum going. Hard to do so when their Chalk is down.
And he is actually wasting his self-res rather than that Nadalia manual res, which either was a unfortunate panic or just a misplay generally.
Maybe they're anticipating a hard push, and Dahlia wasn't sure they'd be able to stall it out. Either way, a huge resource expended on potentially the last round of this map.
Good spot by not joking here.
Here finds a target.
What a clip!
Story ultimately does get down. Can get on the board. 1v1 face off with the Chalk, and
You could tell whose that was being a bit memey there when he went in trying to stick to Dallas. But hey, you gotta respect it. Gotta respect it. That is gonna be map one in favor of Beef Shakers. Nice side performance there, looking good. Yeah, I must say they had a rough first few rounds, but then they kind of found the momentum again. They brought it back. They were good.
I think, you know, like I said throughout the course of the game, it definitely seemed like Beef Shakers just started to wake up and get into some momentum. But I do think that they're just running into a higher level of competition than they may have anticipated, because they walked through like at least the first third of the last tournament without really being challenged too much. So to have the fight taken to them this early on, I think speaks to the overall level of competition that we're going to see across the board. And I don't think there's going to be as much wiggle room as we saw last time. Beef Shakers is just going to have to continue to play seriously throughout this entire tournament if they want to remain a dominant team. Rad, from what you saw over the course of game number 1, we're going from Windward over to Favelas. Are there any insights you think from what you've seen that's going to stick out?
I'm expecting respect the Chuck. Did run it both sides, I believe, and he did have a dominant performance as he always has. I mean, we've seen him. We literally casted him tournament after tournament, and he always performs well on Chuck. Always does. There's a very forgiving rogue with a very big presence, very good kill pressure. Even more so, honestly, in their team situation than Kestrel has been. They don't have to worry about being flanked as much on Favelas, either team. It's less of a flank-heavy map as opposed to something like Windward. Rotations are quicker and a lot more easy to spot. So I don't think they'll have to worry too much about the Kestrel. I think in terms of Beef Shakers, though, they should be worried about the Dallas. Dallas is very, very good on this map. And Natalia has proven to be a good Dallas. We've seen them perform really, really well on that match in those first couple of rounds, but also in the previous match that we caught half a glimpse of during the break. So I think there needs to be some respect shown there from Beef Shakers to that Dallas. But Favelas is going to be an interesting map. It is arguably much more defensive heavy than even Winwood was. So whichever team gets that side first may come out with a pretty significant advantage, and it's going to be on the other team to keep that mental and keep strong moving into that one.
What we saw a lot in the last tournament, on this map in particular, was how effective the defensive side can be. I forget what teams it was exactly, but we were following one team that was known to be super aggressive, and they just got shut down by one person being posted like in that corner mini garage.
Yes.
I'm wondering if we're going to see that. I would imagine we're going to see Kestrel on both sides throughout the entire match just for that angle alone. But I do think that the need to be more versatile on how you respond to the attacking side as defense, because you can go from one side to go to plant the bomb and call the audible pretty sharply here on Favelas. So I think that lateral shift requirement could add a lot of dynamics to the second map.
I think so too. I think we'll probably see a Fixer ban. I think Fixer is really dominant on this map. I do not think they'll want to let that through. But what that second ban is, it'll be interesting. Would it be the Sigrid just because that is pressure and it's annoyance? Or will they opt for something different? Will they maybe opt for the Chark? Get rid of the Chark. Say, no, we don't want Chark, or no, we don't want to do the Amber retake this time. Not that it was particularly effective in the end for Team Cruelty, but again, it's still pressure. It's still pressure that Beef Shakers could bring out, and that may be a good enough ban. But I believe we have Beef Shakers on the defensive side first, is what I heard. So they'll get a second ban. So it's going to be kind of down to... They have a bit more freedom. Second ban gives you a lot more freedom, I feel like. Okay, we see what that team have decided they want to prioritize. They do not want Fixer. They do not want us allow Fixer. So let's ban the Anvil. Let's do that. Let's ban that and get that out of here, and then we'll run Fixer. So something like that. You know, like they have a lot more control over the strategy with that second ban.
I like that you mentioned Anvil because it didn't feel particularly impactful to me in game number one. Granted, I guess I wouldn't say Windward's particularly Anvil's best map.
No.
By any means. But I do think it was interesting to see it be selected that early on and just... There was never a play where it's like, that's a straight up Anvil play. That moment never really came around for me. Favelas, do you feel Favelas is a strong map for Anvil?
I would definitely say so. He can post up really well in that mini garage, that position that we talked about. With that C4, if they rush him, C4 them. If they try to throw lethal, you have trophy systems. Or if they decide to go A side, you've got that shield for that retake, and it's a very obnoxious shield to deal with. So there needs to be some counterplay, whether it be the ban, whether it be opting for an incendiary grenade to counter it, whether it be opting for just keeping your Kestrel ult there and alive to stop that retake. There has to be a focus on dealing with that Anvil. I actually kind of like to see an Anvil on both sides. I've seen this before, and there's something that I think a lot of people don't quite appreciate is that Anvil has shredder rounds, which means if he goes into another Anvil, he can beam that shield in like half a clip. Like, it's really, really quick. And that can completely, by itself, remove a retake. And you get your own shield pressure of planting. Then you deal with the retake. Like, there's a lot of benefit to having Anvil on both sides to counter each other. So I'd be interested if that comes out. I doubt it. This is kind of like a wish of mine, one of those like weird little things that I hope people do. But if it does happen, it could be pretty impactful.
One of the things I thought was really interesting of game number one was the contrast of healer selection. Dahlia for Team Cruelty, whereas we definitely saw what Saint can bring to the table on the other side. Although it was more like a direct revive capacity. I don't recall a particular instance where the drone really picked someone up in a situation where only the drone could have worked in that situation. Do you think that the Saint pick is justified, or would you rather see a switch over to Dahlia?
Well, I think it kind of depends on the side and the passives you have available. But like they said, that one round where Cannibal stuck the res, they only win that because of Saint's passive, which is they come back with 80 HP rather than the base 30. So that's the clutch potential there. Is who's that was able to get up and be basically fight ready. Like he's only like it's one less bullet that he's got on his H bar. That's like enough for him to do something. And that's why they beamed him. If he was one shot still after that res, like I don't think they win that play. But they were able to take it that time, and that's what I liked. I liked that a lot. I think that's the value of having the Saint right there. Is that 80 HP revive, but then you lose the speed and the tactical element of the passives with Dahlia. So it really is very dependent. Like I think if you have an Anvil on your team, you opt for the Dahlia for that link to stop the flashbang, especially you're going against who's that's Chark a lot, maybe even a Talon potentially on this map, or I think we watched this happen before last time, but a glitch. Do you remember this on this map? The glitch that used to walk right up to the door and just hack everything. Yeah. And so we could potentially see that again. That would be interesting to see. It'd be a nice play potentially, like a nice little weird different pick. Or they could keep it for the Anvil if if they're going for retake again. I spoke about how Anvil is good at destroying Anvil shields. Glitch is also very good at destroying Anvil shields. So we have that going for us.
The very least. If I'm on the attacking side on this map, and that's such a really good point to bring up because Glitch can be so strong on the attacking side here. It's like, oh, you set up if you do pick Trench, like, oh, you set all this stuff up. It'd be a shame if someone just walked up and shoved all that off the proverbial table and just kind of set you back to normal.
Yeah.
And you were EMP'd.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Especially you mentioned that Trench specifically holding mini garage is a very, very common thing. Got a good weapon to hold that and get some shots off. Also has the barbed wire to slow him down, has trophy systems to keep himself alive, has trip mines if you get to the door, and Glitch presses one buttons and they say bye-bye to all of that happiness that you had set down there. And it's actually a really good push into it. So I do wonder whether that is something these teams have played around with, whether they want to play around with, and whether that's something we will see or not, or whether, again, I think bans will kind of determine a lot of what people want to do, whether Anvil gets banned, whether Trench gets banned. Trench is actually a really viable ban on this map. I would potentially ban it if you're not thinking at least about picking up the glitch.
So to give you a quick update, we have all the players in the lobby for game number 2, except one is in spectator mode for reasons, or in a spectator slot for reasons unknown. But the match is now getting underway. Apologize for the delay, but here we go, favelas.
Yeah, that tends to be a message to the castle that, hey, when they're sitting in spectator mode, it's like, hey, don't start. We're not ready, Little in-game maneuver.
Prevent the enemy from planting the bomb.
Here we are going into map number 2, though, for Velas, as we see the C-Grid insta-banned out of there. They do not want to deal with that. They're not feeling the C-Grid on this map. And you know what? Cannibals is actually a really good C-Grid player. Very, very strong, very, very good C-Grid player. It does not surprise me they wanted to remove that.
I'm both happy and sad to see that, because when Sigrid came out as a rogue, I was really excited to see what they can bring to the table, and she came out feeling a bit lackluster to me. But now she's much stronger, so I'm like, all right, great, we'll get to see some more Sigrid action. And we do see that. The ban screen. And I'm like,
yeah.
All right, did they make
we
her
see her every game.
I just want to see her in action more. I want to see more Sigrid plays, but apparently someone on that side doesn't.
No, they are not enjoying the Sigurd here. Natalia goes for the Kestrel as opposed to the Dallas. Interesting, that puts Blasters over there on the Seeker. We have the Chark, and we have a Saint, which I don't actually like. I would prefer a Dahlia here for the Chark revive. I think that would be better. And wow, okay, that is we spoke about the power of Anvil, we talked about the power of Trench. They decided, yeah, both. Yes, please. I genuinely am looking at this right now, and I am fearful for Team Cruelty. That is not a team you want to go against. What do? You can't take mini garage because you have nothing to stop the trench barbed wire and the trophies, and so he's got that unlocked. You can try and rotate A, but unless you get a pick off, Anvil retake is just too viable. This is a dangerous comp to be trying to attack into right now.
That is an iron curtain of a defensive composition. It's just like, because you look at the lineup, right? That we see here for Beef Shakers, and my immediate thought was like, wow, I hope he got Shredder rounds, so he got something. And then you look on the other side, and they really don't.
They don't.
They don't really have much to counter a hard fortified position this magnitude. I'm also fearful for Team Cruelty.
They have Shredder rounds and Chark, but even then, that's not a lot.
That's not like the role.
No, he's not. He doesn't want to be sitting there shooting a shield.
Yeah.
Got 3 in mini right there. It will come down to if they get an early pick. I think it's going to be important for them not to get picked off. Who's that does find the grenade. They're aping it though. They got rid of the trophies with that Kestrel ult. The barbed wire is slowing them down tremendously though. And that is going to be not looking too good as Who's that is trying to find a little bit of peak damage. Everyone low HP, not Joker in the window, saying no sirree. And it is all left to that Saint Seeker to find something. Who's that in trouble? Will trade his life for it. And actually, the tables have turned.
They really have. There's been a lot of crossfire, and so far, Team Cruelty has really been able to hang on here and stay in the fight and have the advantage. Now it's just Canada. Gets
Nice
a
pick up
double
there.
tap on the back though. 2 more to go. Can he do it? Saint has the bomb. I believe they'll just go to plant that.
They're going down to A to plant it as well. That's unfortunate for them. And they're planting it open, which means they're probably going to go and sit and
Bomb's
hold
active.
spawn.
Find it and
As you can see,
defuse it.
Kestrel up there already. This is going to be a rough push for Canny. He is a bounce mate though.
And Trench in the pistol round could be a little dicey. I don't think. Yeah, he's already used all of his barbed wire.
He just shot
He
his
just
own trophy.
Yeah. Position now given away. Bounce grenade goes out. Does not connect.
Friendly's eliminated. That's gonna hurt the bottom
That's an
line.
unfortunate one. Not much going to do that. I don't quite know exactly what happened during all those trades. It felt like Not Joker got some really solid damage coming off there from that window peak. Got 2, almost 3 down. And then it just kind of went wrong there. Who's that did a very aggressive push and got caught, which is probably part of the problem there. But that was
I
was
can
rough.
tell you exactly what happened. So Chalk pops their ult right as the barbed wire goes down, so that slow clap moment turns super awkward. They were expecting to be inside that garage. Like Kestrel was right behind the Chalk too, but since they both got stuck on the barbed wire, they were just lined up perfectly for Joker to just peek out the window and be like, "Oh, how's
Bomb
it
has
going?"
been dropped.
Let's show you the power of the trench in that sort of situation as they stack 3 into mini garage once again.
Bomb has been
Good
dropped.
grenade comes out. Ultimate will come out. They will find a pick off that though. Seeker probably gonna get droned. Oh, the smoke did not matter there. They saw into the little gap and they will get these full kills now. Also, 4 versus 2. Back foot is one way to describe the situation here, but Blasters is blasting through. Who's that? Will be able to find the pick off. Verse trying to find something, some damage, some hope to keep alive. He's got one on the left, one on his right. See which one he decides to go for. They are both waiting for that peak, and they are not having it. Who's that slowly creeping up the right-hand side?
Been wiped
Just-
out. Run it again.
I assume you've seen the video with that ninja cat, that every time they look away, the cat moves a little bit further forward.
Yeah.
That was Who's That in that moment. He went to peek left, Who's That moves up. He goes to peek right, he stops. He goes to peek left, he creeps up. That is what went through my head in those moments.
That was the quintessential red light, green light. Like he peeks left, takes 40. He's like, oh, all right. Well, let me look the other way. Takes 40 again. He's like, oh, I'm looking good. Ties it up. Round number 3. Principal elements of everyone's kit should be apparent and available here after the money's been accrued. So I think this is going to be our first time seeing both teams firing on all cylinders and see how they clash.
Yes, this will be a lot more interesting in terms of like how the gunplay works. I like how they just run up here and open the door though. This is not something you see a lot, but I like the way they're doing it. And wow, they went aggressive with it. They went very aggressive. Not just on 1 HP, and he does go down, but I mean, that's a trade worth taking. Maybe not though, as it's actually 2-2 across the map. Can they stick the Res on Not Joker? You would hope so.
This is an incredibly volatile matchup, Natalia.
It really is. It's a 1v1 right now.
Any response? Just crazy. Oh, the jump
Oh,
over.
Friendly
oh,
eliminated.
the D4C.
That's
Oh,
gonna hurt the
wow.
bottom line.
That was
It all
close.
comes down to 1v1, man.
That-
Jeez.
Coming down to one mistimed roll, I think, of just rolling backwards in the wrong time and suffering because of it.
Bomb dropped.
Unlucky. It's so crazy to see how fast moving these rounds can go. We'll watch one team get 2 downs and it's like, okay, they're about to have a major advantage, and then somewhere on the other side of the map or another part of the map, 2 people are getting taken down on the other side. It's like, oh, there's a random 1v2 somewhere out of nowhere. Just a lot of trading. I really like it.
think there's some issues. That's better to watch the flank.
I was like,
Trades come down.
Shot pushing through. He's back closing out. Grenade bounces on the wall. Finds Natalia.
Good. Oh, is actually gonna. Oh, that is a distance.
8 shy of getting the down, but a valuable resource no longer on the table for the defensive side.
Things are a lot slower this round. That grenade, those nades coming out from who's that are actually really, really solid. He's found some really good damage with those.
Yeah, the grenade play in general has been really on point. They are going to close that garage door now. They've been inspired. Blasters get sit down on the
No, Joker did drop. They've opened it back up and they're going for the AK, but Story is saying no on the flank there. We'll get traded out by Uzziah there. And now we're looking at, again, in a 2v1. Is Kenny left alone to try and find something here? Does find his trade, but behind him!
Regroup
Did
and
not
try
hear the
again.
pallet step stalker walking is strong. And he will go down because of it. 3-1 on the attack. He's looking really good for Team Cruelty. Not so good for things. And you know what I've noticed? At least 3 of these 4 rounds is that somebody on the side of Beef Shakers has died in Big Garage for free every round. And I think they're just pushing up there a little bit too hard and not quite respecting that someone could be in there behind one of those covers and just peek them out, which is what's happened. So I think that is proving to be a little bit of a downfall. I think maybe they're being a little bit too aggressive, and that's what's causing it. But yeah, you got to give it to Team Cruelty. They are capitalizing on those moments, capitalizing on those angles. As we saw on Windward, they are able to do the same here on Favelas with these cross shots.
I think you're spot on, and it's kind of a two-pronged thing to where, yeah, we see Team Cruelty really capitalizing on these opportunities, but they're opportunities that are being given.
Yes.
And sooner or later, we really need to see Beef Shakers say, like, all right, let's not give them free shots on us. Let's not give them,
Okay, Joker.
you know, a free taxation on us before the fight even really starts. And this slower pace, I think, is their response to what's been happening.
I think so too. I think they're realizing what they can do with the amble retake. They realize that's an available option, and they can chill a little bit. They don't have to go this hard.
Seeker finds one in the mini garage. To no one's surprise, that is a
Bomb's been
staple on
dropped.
Beef. Hello.
Oh, that was on his toe. Wowza. And this is what I'm on about. They push towards Big Garage and get beamed every time. I know you're going for the thirst, but that was almost like if they got the full kill off there, that's a bad trade through.
Dude, that was a jump scare and a half. That grenade was so perfect.
Also, do you notice that trip mine outside of that door?
That's pretty grimy.
That's I couldn't even see that from that perspective, so you gotta be
Bomb
careful.
dropped.
Nice pick up there. Story has been sitting on that side the entire time. Will pop the shot there and will find another one. He's beaming with that Kestrel.
All right, Story getting on the board twice. Having the remaining people on the attacking side.
Nice
Syntax
C4.
goes out, but the C4 from Joker.
Touch that.
Wow.
Fight harder next
Clean
time.
shots come through.
It's gonna be clean up aisle 5 from there. Story really set up the final parts of that play though.
I mean,
After
he was.
those 2 downs, Joker was like, all right, I'm just stepping up.
I'm gonna use my MG. I'm gonna hold on my trigger. But yeah, Pistori was sitting there the entire round. The entire round he was watching it, and I kind of like that. I like that they're not going too hard, not too aggressive. They're expecting the rotate to come out every once in a while and just keeping him there. They're not able to push B very easily into a trench anvil, so keeping your Kestrel, your great 1v1 duelist out there for any rats heading towards A is not a bad shout at all. He also has flank pressure, which is kind of nice. Like you see, he's actually aping his side. He's trying to go for a very early flank.
I don't think that was the trade they were looking for. Blasters should be able to heal back up unless one of these insanely accurate grenades sails by. Doesn't look to happen there. Barbed wire gets set up.
I wonder if they put the stick sensor back where it was
Help on the
before.
way.
Nice trade with the lethals. That does give him Story a chance. They don't know he's there though. He has to absolutely get this full kill. He's waiting for it. He's being so patient.
Opportunity.
Oh, they might have
Fish
sussed him
has
out.
no clue.
He's going for
The
this now.
patience. The
This
patience.
is oh Story. He gets it. He gets away with his life as well. He does stem up. But now he kind of needs a dip. He's in a bit of a, unless his teammate's going to back him up now, he's in an awkward situation. Armor goes come down, Armor will find him, and it's just left a little Chark to self-res this one. They gotta let him up. might have throw a grenade himself. And this is a bad time for poor old Shark. He's been shielded, he's been smoked, he's been trip mined,
Hurt the bottom line.
and he's done for.
Y'all are memeing so hard.
Unfortunate.
Ooh.
I like they finished him off with the trip mine. I respect that one. I like that play.
Just rude. I'm here
Yeah.
for it though. I'm here.
That's
for
what
it.
happens when you're Charky, the last alive, and you haven't used your ultimate before you go down. You kind of. That's a reminder. That's a reminder. You won't be seeing that position again.
That's a feels bad man. At the end of it though, I mean there can't be too much meme and it's only tied up. So they gotta keep this momentum going. The slower pace has historically over the course of this game Rat are seemingly favored beef shakers.
Yeah, I agree. Just a second.
As we get into
A
the
focus.
the final parts of the first half here. Having that lead would be very crucial. Tank gets spotted out, doesn't get down, should be able to heal up. Tack that armor back on. But now they know about Saint's commitment. Doesn't cause Trench to move away though. Everyone's bunkered in.
Turned kind of awkward here, like the neither team quite knows what to do. Never mind, the story goes down. No Dahlia link available for him. Smoke comes out, they're gonna get the full kill. No issue there. C4 takes down 25 HP. Bounce nade, trying to finish it off. Grenades coming in left, right, center, and backwards. But they will stick this revive with that lifeline Seeker. Cannibals not yet moved off the A site, just in case, B site, sorry, just in case they rotate back. And it looks like they're gonna. What is that trophy?
They have the numbers advantage. They kind of got what they came for. They're able
They need this thing. That's a huge, that's a bomb pick.
Uh-oh.
You gotta be really careful here. Can't get picked off the left side, but they
We've been
are,
wiped out.
and they
Regroup and
get
try
they get
again.
angled there. That was what happened. They got beamed from every other angle. And they went 4-3 on attack, which is actually super good
Defending.
here for.
Lock it down.
Oh, I've lost it. Team cruelty. Thank you. Team cruelty.
Doc was like, y'all are real cute dropping these anvil walls and memeing on me. I remember.
He's come back with a vengeance this time. As we see,
The revengeing.
the revengeing is here. It's happened. We have the story opting for the glitch. It's locked
Let's
in. We've
go.
seen it. The Chark, the Kestrel, and the Dahlia. Then the opposite side, we have the Anvil Trench being hovered as well. Saint for the revive, and Blasters back there on the Seeker, most likely. Kind of. Oh no, give Kestrel instead. I think the Kestrel is probably a better pick here for a defensive side,
I would agree.
and they will opt for it.
And
will.
They do
opt for
walk into the glitch trap, so to speak.
I mean, the glitch is just so many options. You can stop it for the retake. You can just stop. You can just help get the big garage, mini garage push in. Like, there's a lot that the glitch can do here.
You know, I have to give Cruelty a lot of credit because going into the first half of this game, we saw the anvil, we saw the trench, and we were like, how do they deal with this? And apparently, pretty well is the answer to that.
They
question.
did really, really well to take 4 rounds here on attack. It's definitely the hardest side. It's a defensive heavy map. And they've done really well. It looks like an aggro first round play, potentially.
Intrusion detected. They might be used to seeing that.
Darkhold was popped, I think. As was... Okay, they're going for the rotate. Or they're baiting the rotate. It just seemed like a bit of a dogfight here. They're going to go for it, but they need to cover each other's backs. They will get the trade off there. I don't know whether revives are coming for either. It looks like revive will be there for Team Cruelty, though. They're aping it, and they're finding the shots that matter.
All right, another volatile round where we have a seesaw battle at the end of it. 2 remaining on the attacking side. Cruelty looking pretty good here for the second pistol round. But you do have quite the pair in Chalk and Dahlia remaining. They're not linked up.
And then they're not in sync there. That is not Joe able to find that one. 1v2 has bomb. Has actually enough time to plant here wherever he so chooses. Actually, maybe not too close though, because they are running.
Enemies
If he planning for their
bomb.
spawn, he's gotta be careful. He sees them both. Has to move. They also have anvil shields, so that's kind of ruined his day there.
He's going for the loop around.
He's gonna
Excellent
have
play
to.
there, but
He's not gonna get it in time.
Failed. They've
Yeah,
Just playing for
see.
some money. Unfortunate. Anvil shield still being up. Early glitch hack, I think. This didn't really do much. I don't quite know what the point of the glitch hack was.
Yeah, they really weren't set up to capitalize on that at all. Maybe it was a bit of miscommunication. It's like, all right, we're in position, let's move forward, and maybe the audible got called. Like, wait, but then the hack already
Bombs
was in
down.
play.
Yeah, I
Didn't
think
get the value they wanted to for sure.
they either need to ensure they're hacking all of Trench's utilities so they can push into mini garage, or save the hack for their retake. I think they're the options they have to figure out.
Either way, solid defensive response here. 5-3 in favor of Cruelty. We didn't see too many game threes in the first half of the tournament last time, but here's
I
the revenge.
feel like we didn't see any. The pick comes up again. They're playing really aggressive. I feel like Beef Shakers aren't quite equipped to deal with this. He's beaming him through the smoke. There is 1 HP, not Joker. Will go down, but the cross shot coming under from Who's That as he's found his own way through to the map and is going to find more. Who's That definitely coming in clutch this round as we're in a 2v2 after that revive. Careful, he takes that pick right now. Does get beamed by Blasters, and it's going to be down to Who's That to do the 1v2, and he cannot. Blasters matching Kestrel v Kestrel to Who's That.
Blaster
6-3 up.
said, he said it's Blasters with a capital B and 2 T's. Remember that. And a Z.
Remember that name and a Z. Blasters.
Because, you know, they had to have a lot of confidence going in, attacking one person on those angles. And for him to win both of those 1v1s like that, impressive stuff, man. Coming up
Very,
big for
very
the team.
aggressive. I wonder how Beef Shaker's going to change it up to stop this aggression. Because like I said, when it comes down to a pure dogfight, I feel like Beef Shakers should win. Mechanically, should just win. But it hasn't seemed to go that way as of yet, as they have the Palace Steps Walkers move around the side, the shots do come down, but the trade has it. There should be a nice kill though. Good, just about surviving on 5 HP. The smoke is down. That is their A defender gone, and now they're going to go plant. They're going to
Enemies
put
planted the
Story
bomb.
up
Stop
nice and
that.
close. He's actually got through here unseen. He's heard though, got to be careful. Does see the trench. Got to be very, very careful. Oh, that was not the move. That was not the move. You don't want to be
Give him the
jumping through the
hands.
air into an SMG. After that go down here as well. 2 cannibals, that was close. A few shaky shots at the start. Glitch packers come down. We'll find Canny on the return, but that'll be not Joker. Able to end that one in the nick of time.
Great round there. I'm really impressed with Story's accuracy there. Because going up against Saint at the beginning, he actually kind of like rolled it first and fell behind in the overall damage race. And he needed every shot to hit to be able to catch up and take that fight. And he was able to do so. Clutch plays, man. I like it.
I like it too. They definitely need to bring some of these rounds back. The moment it goes to 7-4, 7-5, that puts you under a lot of pressure to win a couple rounds in a row. You have a little bit of leeway to take a couple rounds and see how, you know, bring this back 6-6 and see where it goes.
As the blueprint been laid out to success here on the attacking side. Beef Shakers, the winners of
They
our
saw it
last
slow 'em
tournament, being challenged here right at the beginning of the tournament. Blasters not going to be able to win out on that one. Does get it one down, and the team is picking up steam, helping them
Really
out.
are.
Nice.
They are beaming through. This Anvil's putting in work. Just spraying and praying through here.
Bombs down.
C4 comes down. C4 will find the kill, and that's the 7 that I did not want to see on the scoreboard.
Rigged to blow.
Match point.
And
Let's
we are
close
at
this contract
round
out.
point. For the scrappy upstarts, Team Cruelty. You don't know them?
Bomb dropped.
Get to know them.
I mean, yeah, take Beef Shakers to map 3, potentially. Potentially. Still could be an upset, could still win 4 rounds in a row. But to potentially take them up there, that's an achievement in itself. And we'll see how Hollows will play out.
In a great position on the defensive side, as well as on 1 round away.
Good down on 8. Oh, okay. They've sussed out the aggression a little bit more, but these revives are coming down. They're happy to take these trades because of the revive pressure they have, and it's just looking like a dogfight once again, and they are just running, or just trying to run, down towards the A site to maybe get a plant off.
Yeah, I don't think they got the memo that they're on the defensive side. They are pushing in right
Hey,
now.
if it works,
to
it works.
Shakers. It's not working, that's for sure. 3v3 right now. Back against the ropes. We're gonna need to see 4 rounds in a row here for Beef Shakers. Do they have it in them? Almost gets to down there, and will make their presence felt. Free
Who's
angle
that
on
on
the
the
back.
side?
That takes down blasters. That's big.
That's a 3v1. They see the last one, and that's probably going to be the kill coming out here. There's a Kestrel. I don't really see Kestrels lose 1v1s, and we won't see one today. That is 7-5 now is the round count.
All right.
Looking at the downs, like there's been a lot more downs coming out of Beef Shakers. In fact, if you just look across the board, but those revives matter so much. There's 8 revives on their Saint alone, 9 in total compared to the 4 total from Beef Shakers. Those revives are really what's clutching up these rounds, honestly. In this very dogfight heavy mentality, get those revives off matter.
The man's a walking hospital. Like, he's turning these rounds into 5v4s. Really making it that much more difficult for Beef Shakers to keep their momentum going. They need 3 rounds straight here to see a 2-0 finish. Story, we've seen him be clutch off.
Wow, Canny was a double.
Work at 2.
Let's
Canny's
lock this
putting
down.
this round on their back. Let's go for a ride.
And they're definitely not getting revived. They are out and done, and that is going to be the walking hospital down to
Find it and defuse it.
Beef Shakers. Picked up a little bit of steam.
Crusade. Drop down.
Friendly's
Spotted out.
eliminated. That's gonna hurt our reputation.
Feeling like a formality at that point, and oh no, we've seen Cruelty take on a more
Match
aggressive
point.
stance.
Close his
They seem to be
contract out.
really eager to just close this game out and try to take the fight to Beef Shakers, who look to be more than ready and more than willing to answer that aggressive response in kind. And I
Bombs
think
down.
that's a big part of why they're potentially 1 round away from tying this bad boy up.
I mean, 100%. But if they get a 7-7, anything's possible. This round matters, I think, the most. I always say it's about 7-6s. The round that ties it up matters more than the round that decides it. It's a mental thing at this point. And you can see that they know where this aggression is coming from. They're almost avoiding it. Like, they're saying, you know, you want to run up to the truck and try and do something, go for it. We're going to go play around A. We're going to pick off your people at A. We've got glitch. We know where they are. You know, we can figure this one out. And we can get this bomb down, and then we can make you suffer.
No one wants to blow a 7-4 lead.
That just puts
See?
pressure on you, yeah.
Right. Let's see if Team Cruelty is going to be able to get themselves out of a pickle here.
This is a very good rotate, very fast rotate.
Throwing it all.
And they're gonna aim for it. 100, you gotta be careful. Just turn and burning. Cannibals. Taking none of it. And now they're looking like a 4-2 up once again. We'll trade out kills there, and it is gonna be Beef Shakers tying it up 7-7. That was some of the most clean aggression I've ever seen.
Cannibals who had the drop on them. I don't think they expected that second person to be there in garage at all. To be able to turn around that sharply and get that down regardless. Impressive stuff. They managed to tie it up here. The psychological impact
Bomb has been dropped.
going from 7-4 to 7-7 here.
This round matters a lot. This is potentially the match here. It's definitely the map, but this could be the difference between us going to map 3 or Beef Shakers going on to face Heartbreakers team.
Yeah, we are in for a great day of Road Company if we're seeing this for the very first match of the day. Glitch going around with the old viewfinder, seeing what they can find. No aggression this time out of Team
There's
Cruelty. Rather
3
strange.
here. And now they're flying back up. This is the exact same play they just did. It's been stopped again. Bursch needs to do something. He's been flashed off. They've been smoked off. If they get that bomb down, this is
Help on the way.
iffy situations, and Cannibal finds another pick in the same place. Who's that on the flank? Will find Burst. That's the healer gone. Does get the heal off in time, but now bomb down 4v3. Katana! That hit. I would have cried. Not too good.
Getting blasters on the wrong end of that trade. Story and the crew, one away from taking 4 rounds
Wiped out.
straight
Run it again.
to make this a 2-0 in favor of Beef Shakers. Okay.
They did it. They did the upset. They made it happen.
Hey, you guys want to win a 2-0? All you got to do is win 4 rounds in a row.
you gotta
And
do.
Beef Shakers was like, all right.
Yes, I shall do that for you.
Okay.
What I really loved there, and we saw it most in those last 2 rounds, is the way they dragged them over to the A site, sorry. It saw them all there with the glitch. They literally sees them. He said 1, 2, 3. That's how many are on us right now. And then the speed at which they were like, okay, and we're on B, and they got B site, and they flashed off the one they knew was in mini garage, and they smoked him off. And then we had the Kestrel padded steps walking through the smoke to get him, and it was just really well coordinated. And you got to give it to Canny, especially those last 2 rounds. He did that shark play. He beat on his chest. He ran in with his extra HP, and he found a pick every single time in that garage on that rotate up. And that really, really matters in that situation. That gives you some pressure, gets you the bomb down, and then they would just capitalize off everything from that. So really, really good job there from Beef Shakers to bring those rounds back, figure out what was causing the issue, what that aggressive defensive playstyle they had was, and find the counter to it. And this is what I'll say, knowing their comms and stuff, IGL Canny, very good at pinpointing what's going wrong and creating a strategy to change it. That's what I think happened there. Good comms, good adaptation, and that's what I want to see as we continue throughout even more high caliber matches going into this tournament.
I think what we saw there, Rathar, was a 2-pronged result where I think on one side we saw Team Cruelty kind of falter and come up short at the end of the game. They had a 7-4 lead, and it seemed like they were just in such a rush to get that 8th round that they started to be more aggressive. They came off of their defensive positioning. They just wanted to run up, and they played as though it was a foregone conclusion. They're like, all right, let's just keep running in. Even if we lose a round or whatever, we'll just kind of, hold W and get the game number 3. This game's done. And on the other side of it, we just saw the clutch capability of Beef Shakers. If you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Yeah.
They can even make plays in situations where they are at a disadvantage, where someone gets the drop on them, and we still see Canny turn around and absolutely nuke them anyway. So you just cannot take any round for granted here, especially against a team like Beef Shakers, and that was Exhibit A, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was some solid plays as teams and in terms of strategy, but also just individually, some amazing plays came out. Canny just able to just ape, especially those last couple rounds on Shark. It was just found the picks that he needed to find in so many moments that worked really well for him. We saw him alone in a couple rounds at the end on his defensive side of the first half, where he did find some really good picks and got into some 1v1s that just were last second he couldn't put off. We saw Blasters, I think, on the Kestrel right there at the end, just dominate, just winning 1v1s left, right, and center. I think there's some great individual plays. And I think Team Cruelty definitely don't have much to work on to keep competing. They did a great job. I think it's just, as you said, that mentality of like, okay, we haven't won yet. We may have 1 round to win, but we have not won yet. And you can't count a team like Beef Shakers out or any other team in this tournament, especially as we move further up this bracket.
A hard lesson to learn for Team Cruelty. They will take the trip down to the loser side of the bracket. Beef Shakers advance forward, which they will be going up against Heartbreakers team.
Yes.
Another one of the higher caliber teams that we expected a lot of great things.
Yes. This is my wild card. This is what I'll say. This is my wild card. This is the ones who I would say if they're gonna pull up some kind of upset, this will be them. They are, I said, traditionally a ranked team, do very, very well in ranked, absolutely destroy every lobby they get into, but haven't really transitioned as a team into competitive. This is kind of their debut. This is their debut into competitive. So we're going to see exactly what they've got. They've got tough matches. They've got Beef Shakers, who are the dominant team in the Dark Matter Demolition series so far. And then if they win against Beef Shakers, they then go on probably to face Cute Hamsters, who arguably are the most dominant team in the game. So This is if you want to debut into your comp scene, this is it. This is it right here. So it'll be very interesting.
Welcome, welcome. That $1,000 prize pool will not come easy. That's for sure. Looking at other portions of the bracket, the Revengeing Wendy's gang, they made second place in the last tournament. They have been looking strong. They took out Automatic Reload. They'll be taking on Splenetic now. Lagger Gaming, another team that made it really far in the last tournament, who wants to punch a little bit higher than that. They seem to be doing quite all right themselves. They're taking on Midday.
Midday, okay, yep. They should.
So
This should
that
be an interesting
is
match.
underway. The winner of that between Lagger Gaming and Midday, they'll be facing off against Only a Spoonful.
Only a spoonful. I like it. Where are we sitting with Wendy's gang?
Wendy's gang is looking pretty good. They 2-0'd Automatic Reload. They're fighting Splenetic.
Okay, yeah.
now.
Interesting. So we got a lot of these teams that we're expecting to do pretty well. Continue to move up the brackets. They should start clashing coming up soon. These next few matches. Again, our next match is going to be Beef Shakers against Heartbreakers team. Again, this is gonna be a spicy one. I'm looking forward to it.
So far, the results have been looking about what I would expect. Even though that was a 2-0 for Beef Shakers, I Team Cruelty, they're in position to come away with some valuable lessons off of that game, because you don't just get a 7-4 on a fluke against Beef Shakers. Like, even if they might be putting their foot absolutely to the pedal, those are still some hard fought and hard won rounds. And like we were talking about, I think they just kind of assumed that round 8 was in the bag for them, and they learned a hard way that it wasn't. But if they take that as a lesson and say, like, okay, guys, like, we got to go hard every round and not just get too comfortable, I think we could see them make a deep run on any loser side. The spooky thing about the loser side is that those are best of ones.
Yes.
So you don't really get too much wiggle room.
No,
or a place of comfort down there, that's for sure.
No, if you did not learn your lesson, you're out. So you have to adapt real quick to what went wrong and fix it going into your losers bracket matches 100%, and then continue moving up, because as I said, it's punishing. There's no forgiveness in losers bracket in these best of ones. So I want to see them push up and do well. I think they're a good side. I think they're a highly competitive side, and if they can make it back to the final, or at least make it to another interesting match, that would be good to see someone down losers bracket. But yeah, we are looking to get in somewhat soon.
Yeah, cool. Three players remain that need to join up. We're down to 1 now, so hopefully we get in here sooner rather than later. Question I have for you, Red.
Yes.
The glitch pick. I was very excited to see it in the second half of last game. Do you think it played as well as you had hoped it would? It seemed to me more like story just played well. It wasn't necessarily like glitch having a direct impact as the selected rogue.
Yeah,
there were a couple of hacks, but it just didn't seem like it was a glitch specific play happening there.
No, I think what really ended up happening though was glitch is great into a defensive comp who are trying to be defensive. They had to run glitch into a comp that didn't want to be defensive. They ran into a comp that wanted to attack them and push them and not play for shield and not play for trench barbed wires and things that glitch would love to destroy. They played like, hey, we're gonna dogfight you. So obviously glitch is a fine duelist. So I think it was a good pick, just unfortunately not quite what the situation they wanted to go on. As we do load up now into this first match, I believe this map is Hollows, if I'm not mistaken here on let's see.
Demolition. Prevent the enemy from planting the bomb.
Round 1, we're gonna be on Hollows. Round 2 will be the highly defensive favorite High Castle. And should there be a round 3, we'll be going to my personal favorite map, Factory.
I think this is a great set. I think this map 1 is going to mean a lot. High Castle is a ballpark. It can go either way. Like that, it can really go either way. And then I think Factory again is a very interesting map to see play out. I think that was the fixer ban off rip. I do not see if we've had the second ban coming out from Heartbreakers team just yet, but we'll see what that is if they decide to go for it.
Still.
And that would be the Sigrid ban. I think it was when we last cast the Dark Matter together, we saw the Anvil, just the power of Anvil constantly. of
Yep.
on this map of Anvil shield plant, Sigrid shield plant, whatever it be. His story is hovering something, and he wants something.
Yeah, I was like, hello.
He's like glitch, Anvil. Which one? You've got two direct counters to each other there. I think you need to pick which one is your preference.
I liked the glitch last time. I think you made a really good point in that, you know, their opponents just didn't play in such a way to give glitch a big advantage, and maybe that was kind of the point. You know, maybe Team Cruelty was like, they have a glitch. There's no point